Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers risk their lives every day to keep us safe.
And today I had the opportunity to sit down with the police chief to talk about their efforts to hire more officers and the steps police are taking to cut down on violent crime in our communities. Well, joining me now is Chief Kerr Putney. Thank you so much with CMPD. How are you doing this afternoon?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sitting down with us and talking with us. First and foremost, CMPD is really getting aggressive with a campaign to attract police officers to the department. Talk a little bit about the importance of that.
Yes, Kelso Communications is going to be the company that we're working with, local company we just contracted with, and we're impressed with what they did with Project Lift when they were filling vacancies at CMS. We like their track record. They've already blown us away with a lot of the product that we expect to have an impact in bringing more people here. We're already seeing a significant uptick in our application. So looking forward to really ramping that up 1st of April as we really go live to bring in a lot more people.
And you're really focusing digital on this. You have 150
Yes.
vacancies as of right now. How difficult is that to fill those positions when you have a number of people retiring each year?
Sure. Truthfully, it depends on how you look at it. I asked for an additional 100 a few years back. Council was willing to allow for that to be a part of our funding. So we always have about 50 or 60 vacancies based on our turnover, people retiring. So the 150 is kind of misleading. But truthfully, we want to fill every one of those vacancies. And the best way to do it, we see digitally, is that's how people see, that's how they communicate. A lot of it is technology now, so we're jumping in that game. We saw before when we piloted it, a lot of good results, and now we want to be able to sustain that this time.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Recent arrest yesterday in the murder investigation of Scott Brooks. Talk to us a little bit about the priority to make that arrest and the message it sends.
Well, listen, we had over 100 homicides last year, and every one of them is important. Every one of them gave our detectives the opportunity to really showcase that work. Unfortunately, all of them weren't solved. Right now, we're looking at about 75% of them being solved, and that case in particular, the randomness of it really strikes you. It makes you really see that so many of us can be vulnerable when you have people who constantly commit crimes, have violent connections to their crimes, get emboldened, and it shakes you at your core. So our detectives obviously double down on those types of cases. They give them all due diligence, but those in particular are extra motivation. What we're glad is there was some physical evidence that really broke that case open, and then it was good old-fashioned detective work. Our people working around the clock to bring a suspect to justice.
Physical evidence could have been a fingerprint, DNA evidence. What was it that really helped crack this case open, along with the surveillance video?
Sure, not going to get into too many specifics. The surveillance video is one of the pieces that we put out to get some tips. As you know, the Crime Stoppers Award went up to $21,000, but really it was a piece of evidence. I don't want to get into the details of the investigation, but a piece of evidence that really gave us that specific person to start focusing on. And then our detectives just did that work, putting that case together and bringing this person to justice.
Have you had a chance to speak with the Brooks family? They have meant so much to the NODA community, as well as just the community in general, with just how generous the family has been. Have you had a chance to speak with them?
Since the arrest, no. But we have victim services and our detectives who are always in constant conversation. I can tell you they are relieved. They do have some closure around the case, but they're still grieving. They still have a tragic loss that they have to deal with for the rest of their lives.
Number of homicides last year alone. This year seems to be, is there a turn? We have 16 homicides this year compared to last year. We had 24 this time.
Yes.
What are police doing differently that they did not do last year?
I wish I could tell you there was something we didn't do last year, but that's not the case. Actually, we arrested 18% more violent criminals last year than the year before. So the work was already there. And I kept telling people, hey, you have spikes. What we're seeing right now is a natural regression to the mean. We're getting back to some state of normalcy. The issue with that, though, is we still have 16 homicides. So those are 16 lives and 16 families that have been devastated. So we just look at it as it's not the number. And I tell everybody, it's not the number. It's the human element that drives us. We want to bring closure to people because they deserve nothing less.
And I feel like it's important to say that police can't do it alone.
Sure.
Talk to us a little bit. How big is it to have community support to work along with police to help solve these cases? Because I'm pretty sure just in the case with Scott Brooks, you've had a number of tips. How important are those tips to help solve these crimes?
It's vitally important. Having people, we're a community policing agency, so having the community trust us enough to give us that information, even anonymously, so that we can do our work. It pays dividends, as you can see in this case.
Chief Kerr Putney, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
We
Good to meet
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. And the chief also talked about a number of other issues, including the RNCs. He said that the department, they're on schedule and they will be ready by August. And I did ask him. I said, you're retiring right after the RNC. Have you had a chance to reflect? And he said, not yet.
He's too busy.
He's in the thick of it right now. But he did say he wants to travel and spend some quality time with his family, as well as maybe do some consultant work.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure he'll take a deep breath.
yes, first
when
and
that day
foremost.
comes.